Well guys, this is going to be a long one. We've got the Ravener Alpha. God, you never see this guy. You never see it, so I'm happy to see it right now. It's going to be played by Kvek. I'm going to call him Kvek. It's an inside joke, okay? It's an inside joke. And we've also got Aboba playing as the Warlock for the Eldar. Eldar were actually the second most popular faction that you guys said in my recent community poll that you wanted to see. At least at the time that I'm recording this video. So here you go, a little bit of Eldar. I must admit, we've not had a lot of it on the channel, if I'm honest. But yeah, nice aggressive tunnel usage early on, going out here, and then the Ravener rushes all the way to the edge because the Ravener Alpha can actually get inside buildings.
Support structure complete.
Now, triple Hormiguns coming out for the Tyrannid player. I do like this against Eldar. As much as Howling Banshees are very fearsome against an isolated melee squad, they're fairly fragile, so fighting against double Hormiguns, the Banshees are going to get ripped to pieces and probably killed on retreat. Unless they get super lucky with special attacks, and there's a really clean destruction from the Warlock. But yeah, this is just a lot of pressure for the Howling Banshees to deal with, and of course Hormiguns are much quicker than Howling Banshees if you don't account for Fleet of Foot. Certainly at the start of the map, the Howling Banshees are only moving at 5.5 speed, and Hormiguns are moving at 6.5. And then poor Guardians, without their upgrade, they're also really, really weak to Hormiguns.
We are losing a victory objective.
They die very quickly. They've only got 500 HP. They are speed 5.5, at least they're a bit higher than normal infantry. But yeah, they can die very quickly and retreat to Hormiguns. So this is quite a high pressure build early on. Now the downside is that you don't really have a way to deal with the Warlock, to be honest. But you don't necessarily need to.
Adding support structure.
His Destructor is pretty damn annoying, but he doesn't actually do a lot of damage whilst chasing around because he doesn't have a melee charge. And his actual base damage is pretty shit as well. But yeah, Hormiguns here, they try to engage the Guardians. They do actually kill one of them, but then the Banshees get too close so they have to back out. So that's a nice little trade there. Not losing too many Hormiguns unnecessarily. Did lose 4 over here, trying to get the Gem Bash, and as you can see, that was unsuccessful. Didn't actually get any of the nodes. So Warlock down here is, well, the Ravener Alpha is kiting the Warlock. It's been rather annoying. There's not really a whole lot the Warlock can do because, as I say, his damage while moving, chasing targets, is pretty shit. And then eventually the Ravener Alpha is going to get down here into the garrison. There's not much to be done about it. So we actually see a very aggressive Guardian weapon team here. Nice micro from Aboba. Really nice micro. Suppresses this squad, aids the Banshees in getting rid of them, and then the other two blob up together and are easily forced off. The Banshees retransitioning to force off the suppressed squad. Now Raveners are out for Kvek, and double Raveners would be the expected build, but we might actually see some Warriors as well because of course Kvek is lacking in some synapse since he's playing as the Ravener Alpha and the Hive Tyrant. Good little burrow there. It's going to disrupt the Shuriken, and that allows the triple Hormiguns to get in. Now the Banshees and the Shuriken need to retreat the fuck out of there. Shuriken really just needs to retreat. I don't know what it's doing. Oh, it's trying to run to the overlapping fire of this Guardian Weapons team, but it's... yeah, well, I guess it worked. However, now unfortunately he tried to set up in the wrong direction, so the pew-pew of these Raveners and the Ravener Alpha is going to be a little bit too much. Now, unfortunately for these Raveners, they don't actually have the energy to do a burrow, but it doesn't matter because the Hormiguns have moved in with speed and have managed to outflank and force off the Guardian Weapons team. This Hormiguns in a bit of a precarious position. It is going to get caught out and lose a couple of models, but he manages to get behind the shot blocker here, and we also have a burrowing Ravener Alpha. This is one of the reasons Ravener Alpha is so cool against Eldar. They want to go the double Shuriken so that the Raveners aren't as oppressive when they get their burrows in, and they just have better control in general. But then if they go double Shuriken, they don't have anything to detect your Ravener Alpha, which obviously just infiltrate with his burrow. So really the Eldar now wants to get a Ranger squad as well, and it starts becoming quite a heavy tier 1. Burrow traps are coming out as well. Now I would argue that that is probably overcommitment, because if I was the Eldar player here, I would definitely be getting Rangers before I head to tier 2. So I don't know. I'm already getting Rangers just because you got the burrow armor. So I don't know about the burrow trap as well, but we'll see how it plays out. You know, if we don't see any Rangers, the burrow trap would definitely be very effective. And that was a lovely little engagement for the Banshees there. They've got their aspect of fleetness now, so they're a little bit stronger in melee. handily wipe the floor with the isolated Hormigons squad. As I say, you really need to double up your Hormigons if you want to have much hope of winning. Yeah, good damage there from the Burrow Trap, but nothing crazy. Doesn't actually take out any models, unfortunately, for the Ravener Alpha. Hormigons doing a good job on this side, decapping the natural point. In fact, not just decapping it, fully capping it for Kvek. But a lot of healing going on in the base, and unfortunately it seems that Kvek has been bleeding quite a lot because he hasn't got his second Ravener out yet. And yeah, as you can see, we even see Rangers on the field now as well. I mean, once the opponent has both the Burrowing Armor and the Burrow Trap, really you need to get Rangers. There's no way to justify not going for them. Slight overextension from the Hormigons there. Would have actually potentially died in retreat if there was grenades, but unfortunately for Aboba, he doesn't have any grenades right now. Nice use of the leap to fling those Hormigons over from the Shuriken into the direction of the Banshees, and some good damage on them, forcing them off. But unfortunately, there has been time for the secondary Guardian Weapon team to reset up and force off the Hormigons. Now the Ravener blob is moving back, kiting that wall up once again, able to shoot them down. A lot of damage, bit of miss micro there from this Ravener squad. It could have outputted a good bit of DPS there before fleeing further. But as it stands, Aboba holds on to, well, the east side of the map and the 2-cap against Kvek. But yeah, map control isn't really that bad for Kvek. He's got this wreck here, the wreck here, and the wreck here, so, you know, there's only one requisition point for Aboba. Let's see how that translates to the actual income. Yeah, wow. So very similar in actual pop cost, but you'll see that the Kvek is getting way more income. Obviously he lost 30 there from that point being decapped. The fact that that was a fully matured requisition point, that is really awesome for him. Now Kvek is actually doing a bit of a macro fuck up here. He has not built his third generator, which is a big mistake because he's floating quite a lot of requisition at this point. I'm almost certain that is not intentional and he has just forgotten. Good little burrow from the Ravener Alpha there, and now these Raveners are able to easily burrow onto this rear Shuriken. The Shuriken probably, yeah, needs to retreat, because if it's knocked over and these Hormigons get into range, they're going to rip it to pieces. Now, Distort Field does come down onto the Banshees, which protects them from the Ravener damage, but like I said, even just 2 basic Hormigons will generally beat the Banshee squad, never mind when there's DPS from the Raveners coming in, even if it is halved by the Distort Field. So you can see the Banshees perform really poorly there. To lose 4 Banshees and only kill 4 Hormigons, that's a terrible, terrible trade, and it just helps Kvek get back into a position where Aboba is not miles ahead in requisition. Now, the problem that Kvek has right now is he's obviously behind on tech. If Aboba was to get out a Falcon anytime soon, Kvek would be in a really quite horrendous position. Fortunately for Kvek, this is a very dangerous Ravener jump. Where they're jumping, they could potentially die. Might be saved by the Burrow Trap here. Probably were. Okay, there were 2 models in this Ravener Brood squad, but he definitely would have lost another model because of the Immolated Blade doing that damage over time with both ranged and melee attacks. Definitely have killed the Ravener Brood. Regardless, what I was saying before, it seems that Aboba has been bleeding a lot. I mean, look at this, he's got no tier 2 unit purchases yet, and he's completely out of requisition. Finally getting his battle equipment on his Guardian, opting for Warp Throw. I mean, I do like Warp Throw, but I feel like Aboba should recognise that he's not seen anything from Kvek in a while. He probably actually is ahead in tech. If you've got a Falcon at this point, this would be extremely brutal.
Sweet success.
Then you just utilise Warp Throw to actually control the Venom Brood, throw them into Shurikens to force them off easily, throw them into your Banshees so they're tied up in melee without a Venom Brood. How the hell is Kvek going to actually kill the Falcon? He can't. He can't. Alright.
A warlock has arrived to guide us to victory.
So Aboba has definitely had a missed opportunity here. This was a clear timing window in which he could have cemented a gigantic lead in the game, but yeah, he's missed it. He's missed it for sure. Well, you hate to see it. Both Raveners forced to use a defensive burrow strike. Not ideal because now they're very, very low on energy. They're not going to be able to burrow again for a long time. But Hormagaunts putting in a lot of work here, taking out the generator farm for Aboba. He definitely needs that power. He isn't floating that much power. A lot of Hormagaunts are going to die here. Again, we have an opportunity for a retreat grenade. Pretty good grenade, that. Really nice grenade. It's hard to hit Hormagaunts with grenades because they're so fast, much faster than normal units, so the timing is a bit different than being 6.5 speed. But yeah, that was a good grenade. I would have actually... It's a shame it didn't wipe the squad. It was a really nice attempt. I know that Kvek is not really actually investing much in the Hormagaunts at all. He hasn't even got a Adrenal Glands, and I disagree with that. I think it's a really good investment. Bit of a swing and a miss there and walk throw. Very optimistic. You should really wait for them to get suppressed first. Then obviously they can't dodge it. Raveners are quite quick themselves. I believe they're 6.5 speed. So hard to hit with abilities like that. Now we see the Venabrood out in spite of the fact there isn't even a Falcon. I mean, it makes sense. It's going to buff up both of these Raveners. Not just with the range Synapse, but with Synapse in general, because he's playing as the Ravener Alpha. He didn't have any Synapse. Now he's got the damage Synapse as well. So these Raveners are suddenly going to start doing a damn lot of damage. They've also got more HP. Rippers are coming out as well. That's going to help him deal with the Shuriken spam. I feel like the Rangers right now should be sniping the Venabrood, just chipping away at them. Obviously he's trying to set up an ambush, but... I don't know how effective the ambush is going to be when there's a Venabrood just stood right there, you know what I mean? Because the Shuriken is actually infiltrated, it didn't take the opportunity to shoot that Ravener Alpha earlier on, which is a bit strange. Venabrood here, nearly getting wiped out by Shuriken fire. This is just a horrible engagement for Kvek. He's getting the fuck out of there. He's burrowing behind the Shuriken squad, but they're just totally unsupported, yeah. He's retreat. Hormagaunt squad here, looks like they got wiped out. No, that were Rippers. Okay, so he's going to get a Tyrant Guard. I mean, that makes sense. He obviously recognises that he needs a line breaker at this point. These Shurikens have been an absolute nightmare. The alternative would be to get a zone throw up, but it's very static and it risks getting wiped out by a good Banshee flank. Not to mention energy shields kind of negate the zone throw up as well, so I don't really like the zone throw up in this matchup.
One of our generators is under attack.
Now, if I was Aboba, I'd have been getting a vehicle with that big stockpile. I'd have probably got a Wraithlord to help counter-initiate those Ravener Broods, as well as the Rippers with the big splash damage that they do. And ironically, it would deal well with the Tyrant Guard. Not that I would really expect a Tyrant Guard to be coming, because that's quite an unusual choice against Eldar, given how much damage the Hounded Banshees can do to them with that power melee they have. But yeah, the Wraithlord would handle the Tyrant Guard as well. No, he's just going for another Guardian squad. I guess you just camp around the map, and level 3 Webway Assembly is coming out. I don't know what's with the weird red traces. I don't know if that's like a known bug. If you guys are aware of that being a known bug in the patch, just tell me down below. There you go, you see the timely walkthrough there kind of forced the burrow so they didn't make themselves overextend. Hormagaunts kind of just being sacrificed in front of the Shuriken to try and get the decap there, and it is successful, but to get that decap for 4 Hormagaunts, I don't know if really that's worth it. Oh, this is a really precarious situation for the Hormagaunts. Potential for a retreat nade. Another retreat nade goes in. Oh, really nice retreat nade again. Aboba's got some really good retreat nades. I'd love to see it. That was a well-deserved wipe. Kvek should have seen that coming, really. I don't know why he engaged from there against what was essentially a full army with Hormagaunts on the ground. Perhaps he was trying to do a timing push with this force, but of course that was, well, very mistimed, evidently. Hollowfield goes down again, but it's just going to be used to allow the Shuriken to disengage. It's really not a favourable fight for this at all. Tyrant Guard is just too much of a linebacker. Of course, it's going to shut down any sort of Shuriken usage in that area. Venabrood have meanwhile been gem bashing, so Aboba is once again out of generators. Not good for him actually, because he spent a damn lot of power trying to get to tier 3, and now he can't actually get anything out in tier 3 because he doesn't have the power for it. So all the gem bashing from Kvek has actually been pretty damn impactful in this game. And Ravener Alpha map control is difficult to contend with. Rangers can't really do a whole lot against Homodons. They're fast though, and with this fleet of foot they're getting away quite easily. But it doesn't last forever. Yes, then they have to retreat. Guns need to be microed back onto the point and keep that VP pressure up. Here comes a Warp Throw. The Venom Brood are being Warp Throwed in, and the Raveners are getting tied up. Immolator has been dropped down. It looks like Rippers are going to get forced off. But all the focus fire is coming on the Banshees, and they need to leave. Good little flank from the Ravener Alpha in his burrow. Makes that setup team de-set up. Oh, an unfortunate play here from Kvek. His micro getting pretty overextended. Allows the Homodons to chase all the way into base and then wiped out. Big mistake there. Really huge mistake. He has to go out to the door. Damn it. Hive Node coming down alongside the Capillary Tower. Cute. Interesting choice though, because there is an Immolator on the field. Immolator can pretty easily destroy the Hive Node. Though he's just swapped it out for the Witchblade Kernels, so I don't know what's going on, if I'm completely honest with you. I don't know if this is a moment of mercy. Apparently not, because the Banshees are engaging it. We should definitely have dropped the Immolator first. Obviously Kvek is AFK at the moment, otherwise the Hive Node would have released its spores, which would have reduced the amount of damage it took from the ranged attacks. Wouldn't have protected it from the melee, but it would have done a little bit of damage to the Banshees. But hopefully nothing gets lost here while Kvek's at the door. That would be an unfortunate display. Obviously this is only a friendly match, so there's no reason to try out too much. But he's back and the game is going to continue. Now, we see Gene Stealers for Kvek. The problem that I see right now is that he's still got a lot of VPs that he needs to take to win the VP game against Aboba, and I feel like on this map it's very easy to sit sort of in this area and defend both that mid VP and the natural one quite easily. I think it's going to be really tough for Kvek to deal with that once some of the late game Eldar things come out. D-cannons on this part of the map are so annoying, covering all this area, dropping singularities, pulling everything in. But, you know, Kvek does have a lot of melee options. Raveners are hybrid units, they can do pretty good melee damage themselves. And with the potential for tunnels, definitely makes it easier for him to flank with melee than other factions might. And Aboba, for some reason, is really playing on the back foot now. I mean, he's sending out some webways now. Not before time, if I'm honest. So he really should get one in his base as well. I understand he's tier 3, probably wants to keep enough red for an Eldritch Storm at any point, but you need map control, especially when you're down an effective 150 VPs or so. You need the map control, so drop some more webways. Again, Warp Throw, forcing the Ravener Brood to essentially waste their burrow. But you know what? The Tyrant Guard has done amazing, and so has the burrowing armor on the Raveners, the Ravener Alpha, disrupting this setup team again. Where is the other setup team? Wow, it is still inside the garrison. That seems lazy from Aboba, and a big misplay actually. That setup team should have been set up here, facing this direction, to stop the disruption from this Ravener Alpha. I wonder what Aboba's actually hoping for in tier 3. You know, a well-microed Fire Prism would be more or less unstoppable, but it'll be tricky. You'll have to defend it, because this Ravener Alpha does have the Corrosive Devourer, which can do some pretty good damage to vehicles. You can obviously get behind it easily with his burrowing armor, so yeah, it will require protection. I'm gonna guess that Aboba probably doesn't want a Fire Prism. I do think objectively it would be good, but it would also be very difficult to use. Too much DPS coming out of these Raveners with their damage oil right now. Banshees need to get the hell out of there. They could have done with this Starfield in my instance. But Guardians are slowly chipping away at these guys. And where are the Rangers? How can they detect them? Oh, I guess he just got too close right on top of the Guardians. Do the Exarchs or the Warlocks and the Guardians have a small detection range again? I don't know. Anyway, that was a lot of bleed for Kvek, and that is going to hurt him a little bit. What is he trying to go for? Is he going for some sort of can effects? Oh wow, Gene Stealer's actually catching the ranges. It's not a good time for those ranges. Tyrant Guard here just sat in shield wall, but unfortunately for Aboba, there's not really any anti-vehicle on the field for him right now. So he can't really do that much to it. It looks like he is slowly burning through the HP of this Tyrant Guard, but it is really very slow. Reinforcements are coming out quite quickly from Kvek. Using all the Gaunts has definitely hurt Kvek quite a lot. It might actually be useful to bring in a without number at this point. You know, all this time while this fighting's been going around the mid, imagine how good it would be just to have a couple of Gaunts going and capping these side points. I like the warp throws here from Aboba. They've been pretty consistent. Quite a fortunate split actually on the Raveners there from their typical formation, protects them from the Ethereal Slash of that wall. Rippers go in, tied one of the Shuriken weapon scenes, but it's not really going to be that big of a deal. They don't do much damage enough themselves, thank God. Ooh, well it could actually be a big deal because G-Sealers have finally made it over to the fight, and that is going to actually save the Tyrant Guard from the Banshees. We'll have an opportunity to charge out here. Let's see if he uses it. Banshees are chasing now, he's going to die. Ah, bastard. Rippers are slowly killing the Gadget Weapons team. And finally he actually retreats it. Ravner Alpha captures the natural VP of Aboba, setting up some tunnels I imagine. Yep, so reinforcements can get over there quite easily, which will include big spooky G-Stealers. They need to tunnel themselves now. It's like they're headed in without fully reinforcing, which is a little bit awkward. It's a big deal though. So you've got some Guardians coming over, you've got some Banshees that are not yet fully healed, but they're close, while these Guardians need to be really careful. The Grenade is actually going to take out most of the forces. Yeah, it looks like Kvek actually wanted to go over to the natural VP instead, play it safe. I mean, he has more time because he has more VPs. Okay, and he was saving up for Swarmlord, wow. 200 power for the Swarmlord, I did not realise he was that expensive, jeez. You know, things like Guo, Land Raider, they're all like 180, aren't they? Swarmlord's more. I guess it makes some sense, because Tyrannid's economy, they do get to tier 3 a lot sooner. It's easier to get a Swarmlord out, even though it does cost more than it is to get a Land Raider out as a Space Marine. Tricky spot for the Ravner Alpha here, but yeah, good little trick here. When you retreat, whilst you're burrowing, it does that. He launches himself out of the air and it sends them offline, so that protects you from melee. You don't want to just instantly retreat, or the Banshee's going to fleet-footed after him and potentially kill him in retreat. But the fact that he went into burrowing mode and then used his burrow just as the Banshees came in, he's safe. And we're actually going to see an avatar coming out from Aboba in the end. That's his tier 3 choice. I was wondering what it was going to be. I didn't think it'd be a Fire Prism. Nope, an Avatar. So we're going to see Avatar versus Swarmlord. The problem that I see here for Aboba is he doesn't have really any other anti-vehicle to deal with the Swarmlord. He's definitely going to have to upgrade one of the Shuriken weapon teams into a Bright Lance, that much is for sure. But even that against the Swarmlord is going to be pretty tricky. You know, the fact that these Banshees are aspect of fleetness, they've got no supplemental AV at all. The Swarmlord just YOLOs straight into the Guardian Weapons team with Rippers, which can reinforce off of him. And yeah, where's your anti-vehicle DPS then? Meanwhile, the G-Sealers are reinforcing off of him. Yeah, it could be pretty tricky. I would like to see some melee warriors actually from Kvek now. I think they do really well in the big blob with the Swarmlord. Yep, Swarmlord's out. Let's see how he does. So there you go, the Swarmlord sees the Avatar. What's going to happen with him? Might see some juicy warp throws into Wailing Doom here. I hope we do. I haven't seen that tactic in a long time. Very, very rare to see that tactic in 1v1. Raveners, as great as their DPS is, it's not going to really do that much to an Avatar because of his super heavy infantry infantry armor, Venom Brood certainly will do a lot of damage. Warp Throw goes in, forces the double burrow on the Ravener Broods, but it means that the Banshees have now got into melee range with the Venom Brood, and here you go, here's the Bright Lance. That Bright Lance needs to be forced off very quickly, but the Raveners have already whiffed their bloody burrow because they had to use it to dodge the Warp Throw, and an Ethereal Slash comes down from the Warlock. Does a lot of damage to those Gene Stealers, and they have to run away, and the Life Leech is popped from the Swarmlord to get a little bit of healing, but unfortunately there's not really that many entities around him. He heals based on the number of entities around him when he uses that ability. Really awful engagement there from Kvek. He needed to tie up this setup team with priority. That had to be the most urgent thing for him to do. He actually has a Lictor out, what the heck? That Lictor could have easily leapt onto the Guardian Weapons team, but instead he is applying VP pressure because look at the VPs, there are 236 VPs for Kvek and only 83 left for Aboba, ticking down very swiftly because he doesn't even have a single VP in his control, but it is turning around is the game. He is actually, well, I was going to say he's going for a triple cap, he's going for a double, and he's going to decap down here on Kvek's natural. So the VPs are definitely going to stabilize soon, something down for Kvek instead. But Aboba needs to hold his ground. It'll be interesting to see what his next purchase is. Maybe he's going to get a Fire Prism. Fire Prism would be extremely effective holding the VPs with its constant knockback. It will stop enemy infantry units from actually being able to cap. And even though the Lictor is really annoying because of his infiltration, you can just attack ground with a Fire Prism and still knock him over. No, you can't see him. He's still there. Still gets knocked over. But yeah, this Lictor actually, I really like this purchase. Very, very powerful purchase. You have to dedicate multiple units to try and get rid of him, so it's very tough. Wailing Doom? Yeah. Which played a Kernus. But this is a really awkward engagement. The whole time that Swarmlord's there, just trying to chop away at the Avatar, he's getting shot by the Bright Lance, so it's not a good trade for him. Avatar at this point probably wants to go back to base and heal. He's got a little bit of downtime to do that, but at the same time, yeah, he needs to get onto the VPs. Calling in an Autarch, not a terrible idea. Honestly, probably didn't need to retreat the Lictor Alpha there. I mean, not the Lictor Alpha, just the Lictor. Pretty sure the Lictor can take an Autarch on in combat. He does way more DPS, and he has more HP. So, a little bit premature. Avatar does eventually get back to the base. He's going to start healing up. This is the Swarmlord on the other side. Gene Stealers are actually stationary here. I don't really agree with that. I think the Raveners should just be moving around between both of these natural VPs. The Gene Stealers really need to be taking the main engagement in the center, alongside Rippers coming in from the flank to deal with the Guardian Weapons team. Like I said, once the Guardian Weapons team is gone, there is nothing here that does anything like effective damage against the Swarmlord. The Avatar does a little bit of a tickle, but it's really not a lot. That was a very questionable Wailing Doom. Not Wailing Doom, Grasses Kin. Lictor goes for the decap in the middle, so once again the VPs are ticking down for Aboba, and unfortunately Aboba is walking into a Gene Stealer trap here of his Guardians. Does drop a nice nade, and then retreats. Fair enough. Doesn't actually kill any Gene Stealers, a couple of Guardians die. And Swarmlord's come back again. These Banshees really need to disengage, they can't do anything against the Swarmlord. Pop goes a Banshee. There you go, pop. Is that Distort Field? Seems like a questionable Distort Field. I really don't know why Kvek is just meleeing like the Avatar. This is a beautiful engagement for the Swarmlord though. With the Life Leech, you can see how he's just not losing any HP. Rangers attacking him, Autarch, Banshees, I mean, I don't know why. They don't do any damage to him. He's vehicle armor. Like, they do a tiny bit, but not a lot. And now we actually have an Acid Splatter Ravener Alpha doing some huge damage to the Banshees. But as you can see, the Guardian Weapons team with the Bright Lances turned around and is shooting the Swarmlord. I don't know why there is nothing attacking it. What is protecting it? Nothing. It's not even being layered with the normal Shuriken fires, so some Ravener Broods really should be jumping on this thing, or at least some Rippers. The Avatar's getting so low. Nearly taken out by the Venom Brood if it wasn't for the fact that which the Warlock got in there, which played a Kernus. Very aggressive Ravener Alpha burrowing around. Yeah, he that's another thing, right? He could have burrowed over and dealt with the Bright Lance himself. why Kvek is failing to dispatch that Bright Lance. He should be looking at the composition of Aboba and recognizing that the only real thing that he has that can beat the Swarmlord is the Bright Lance. Everything else is very, very good. Yes, as we see when it was in the middle of a massive fight, just healing Life Leech. Ooh, Force Melee here on the Warlock should be the end of him. Force Melee, come on! Yep, gets rid of him and then you need to retreat, because the Autark got too much HP with a little shield. Guardian's running around trying to get some retreat grenades. So we're going to miss. This is now becoming a very tricky VP games. Wow, look at that classic Flesh Hook from the Lictor. Huge damage coming out of him. He can run over and disrupt these Guardians as well. Bit of a miss micro. Maybe he just wants to take over the cap. Okay. Yeah, the Lictor, man, really, really strong, isn't he? Jeez. Probably doesn't want to tango with Banshees, though. They are lacking their Exarch, but they're still very powerful. Absolutely shitloads of resources for Kvek. I don't know what he's doing. Why is he not getting Carnifex? Can you not afford a Carnifex? Probably not now with the pop. Huh. Just get some more Gene Stealers then. He could get some Warriors as well with Adrenal Gland. I don't know why he's not doing that. Warriors with Adrenal Gland plus Gene Stealers could just run through this mid alongside the Swarmlord and the Ravener Alpha so easily. Or just send Rippers. Why are there no Rippers coming out through the mid? That's what he needs right now. He needs Rippers. Rippers in combination with the Swarmlord are freaking nuts because they reinforce off the Swarmlord for super cheap price. Basically very hard to get rid of them. It just makes any range troops really useless. Again, the Swarmlord's kind of just running into the middle of the Eldar army. Now that is really nice for the Leech Life, I'll say that. But he was a little bit late on the disruption with the Lictor. But he gets it eventually. And a Tyranna formation comes down. Pretty huge Tyranna formation. Fuck me, this is amazing. The Lictor looks like he wiped out the Bright Lance setup team. And the other Raveners have dived onto the Shuriken, which is now getting hurt. Not going to wipe that out. The Tyranna formation did amazing work. Actually took out the Rangers for Aboba, as well as the Web Brigade there, denying them some of their mobility. But the Avatar has too much HP and the Life Leech has already been used for the Swarmlord. Swarmlord's going to die from 2 more hits from the Avatar. Swarmlord does actually heal though. Despite the vehicle armor, it is a living entity. So he will survive 1 more hit. Ravener Alpha is trying his best to do something against the Avatar, but that is not a fight to take, really. Might actually die in retreat here. Oof, he does. That is a big loss. Now the Lictor himself needs to be extremely careful getting knocked over by the Warlock. This is not a situation the Lictor wants to be in. Obviously the Lictor is focusing on the Autark. That is the priority right now because this is a game that is going to come down to VPs. Kvek is capping the side of the map with his Raveners and he has his natural VP, so something needs to stop this cap. Banshees are moving down to position. I believe they're fleeting in. Maybe this is swift movement. They're moving very fast considering they have full energy. They don't actually stop the decap though. They do force off the Raveners, but they need to get on the point immediately. The cap is going to come in here, so there is potentially time. With the Guardians capping here, he is still in this. If nothing disrupts this cap, Aboba should still be in this. Yep, he's got time. If you have 7 VPs when there is a 2-to-1 cap, you have enough time to get the decap and stop the game ending. So he's left with 3 VPs, but obviously now if he starts losing a VP, he's fucked. Avatar has to back off. Looks like a without numbers coming down. Unfortunately for the Lictor there, he goes for a Flesh Hook, but it happens just as the Warlock is leaping into combat. That is not a without number. That is a call-in for the Raveners. And it looks like... Was that a mass retreat? Was that accidental or intentional? Might have been intentional. I mean, Kvek knows that he has the time. He's got 135 VP still in his favour. He can build up a massive force, fully heal everything, fully reinforce it, and push up with a load of Rippers and shit like that. Alongside the Swarmlord, he should be pretty good. The Avatar's really, really injured and needs to go back and heal at this point. So how the hell is Aboba going to manage to hold these VPs? This is going to be a big challenge for him. I think the Autark needs to be going down the side and pressuring this VP. Unfortunately, the Gene Stealers are there, and the Autark, as good as she is in single combat, she can't beat Gene Stealers. She can't beat Gene Stealers, even fully upgraded. The only thing I really wish I could see here is more Rippers from Kvek. I swear we only seen 1 or 2 units. Okay, this is a pretty huge push here. Aboba clearly does not have the forces to deal with this. An Acid Splatter Ravener, double normal Raveners, and a Swarmlord. Like, the Banshees need to get out of there. They're going to die so fast. Wailing Doom does come down, gets a nice hit there on the Raveners. Even with the damage resistance that they get from their burrow, they take a lot of damage there. Grenade comes in to disrupt them. They have to back off. But the Acid Splatter Ravener is doing some huge work alongside the Swarmlord. The Banshees have to retreat. Yeah, it looks like both of the Raveners were forced off, which is not ideal here. Now the Licks is kind of left on his own, and he's actually in a bit of a precarious position with the Avatar hitting him. He needs to retreat or he is going to die. Is anything get in the middle? Something got a decap. I don't know what it was. Maybe a Venom Brood? Did the Banshees just get wiped? No, they didn't. They went into the webway. Yeah, this is not great. Where's the Ravener Alpha? The Ravener Alpha's gone mid. Oh, he burrowed. He burrowed past the Warlock, so now he has an opportunity to get a decap himself. I really don't think the Ravener Alpha is going to be able to get a full cap here. Now, the Otak and the Avatar are going down to intercept. Warlock is just delaying the Swarmlord, but oh wow, Swarmlord gets his passive knockback. There was a 15% chance, I believe it's 15%, might be 10%. Every time you hit the Swarmlord, there is a small chance that your unit will get knocked back. You just seen it again on the Otak there. It's causing some havoc. Something needs to kill the Ravener. What is he doing? Why is the Avatar attacking the Swarmlord? Just ignore it. No, Aboba's throwing the game. He's not dealing with a Ravener. Oh, this is such a mistake. He still had it. Otak should be jumping on the Ravener. He has no knockback resistance. Oh no, the Otak got sky leaped, and that is the game. Kvek manages to cap the center VP with his Ravener, and the VPs tick down to 0 for Aboba. What a match. I loved that one. Seeing the Avatar and the Swarmlord fighting one another in melee. That is a rare occurrence in a 1v1. You don't see it very much, so thank you very much, Kvek for sending that one in. That was a really good game. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and you know what to do if you enjoyed it. I want to see the comments down below. What is the better unit in a 1v1? What is the better unit in a 3v3? Avatar or the Swarmlord? Answer in the comments down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed the content, and subscribe if you want more Dawn of War 2. It's your boy Torpid, signing out.